now. I want to talk about why we say this and what this is going to take. So just a couple days ago, after U.S. Senator Alex Padilla was forcefully grabbed by men in uniform, after he was dragged out of a public press conference, after he was forced to the ground and put in cuffs like a dangerous criminal, he came out in front of the cameras and said, if this administration can do this to a U.S. senator just asking questions, think what they are doing to the farm workers, to the cooks, to the dishwashers, to the day laborers. And maybe you don't have to imagine, maybe you're like me and you have been watching the videos, like the one on June 6th from a young woman who watched her father dragged out of a workplace raid. Now, before I tell this story, I want you to picture your father. Picture your father being dragged out in front of you as the words choke out of your voice between sobs and you say, "Te quiero, papa, te quiero. I love you very much, Dad, I love you," like this young woman said. And I want you to picture your father as he's being dragged away by men in uniform, as his whole world is about to change, mustering the strength and the love to keep his head high and to gesture again and again comfort and love to his daughter, to you. And as the doors on the unmarked van close on this young girl's father, on your father, I want you to picture him blowing one last kiss. Later, when this young woman posted this video, she said that not only was her father taken, but two uncles as well. And she posted to her father, "I wish I had hugged you just a little bit tighter that morning." And I want you to think not just of that young woman, but of the millions and millions right now who are fearful. The mothers and fathers, the sons and daughters, the tios and tias who are terrified and thinking, "I should hug my loved one just a little bit tighter before they leave today because I don't know if this will be my last chance." This is just one of the monstrous crimes of the Trump fascist regime. This is why we say the fascist Trump regime must go now. But that is not all. Let's go back to the press conference with Kristi Noem. What was she saying? I want to quote to you something she said. She said, "We are not going away. We are staying here to liberate this city from the socialists and the burdensome leadership of this governor and this mayor." This is the regime telling you that what their real mission in Los Angeles is. It is to remove the elected officials of that city and state by military force. They are openly saying it. That is a coup. That is a coup. And it is consistent with Donald Trump inciting and then pardoning the insurrectionists of January 6th. This fascist Trump regime feels that anybody else is illegitimate. No one else deserves to be in power by merit of not being part of their fascist crew. Think about what Donald Trump said about why he said Governor Gavin Newsom should be arrested. Trump did not claim that Newsom broke a law. He literally said Newsom should be arrested simply for running for governor. This is right out of Hitler's playbook. Arresting and silencing all opposition. Starting with targeted disappearances and then expanding it en masse. This purging purging the military leadership of anyone who would stand up to the fascist dictator, which is what Hitler did and what Trump has done now. And then parading that military before the eyes of the world to intimidate and terrorize even before it is unleashed to do its greatest crimes. This is why we are here in the streets of D.C. today saying no to Trump's fascist military parade and saying the Trump fascist regime must go now. My name is Sunsara Taylor, and as Sam said, I am one of the co-initiators of Refuse Fascism, together with others, back in 2016. We recognized then that Trump MAGA is a fascist movement determined to impose fascism in this country. Fascism, we were right, fascism is not a curse word. It is a qualitatively different form of rule. No rights, no dissent, just brute terroristic force in the service of a program of open and aggressive white supremacy, vicious and cruel hatred of women and LGBT people, and genocidal xenophobic America Firstism. And the lesson of history is that fascism must be defeated before it is consolidated, before it becomes too late. And today, Donald Trump is very close to consolidating fascism. And so this is the mission of RefuseFascism.org. It is to unite people from all our diverse political perspectives and viewpoints to stand together in the streets non-violently, but again and again in growing numbers and determination, refusing to stop until we create such a profound political crisis that Donald Trump cannot govern this country. Cannot impose his fascist terror and cannot even hold on to power. This is how fascist tyrants are deposed around the world through the nonviolent actions of the people. This is what is needed here, and this is the mission of RefuseFascism.org. So I call on everybody here. Join Refuse Fascism. Bring your unique perspective, your skills, your passion, your networks, your resources, your determination, your courage, and your commitment to the future into this fight. And on July 1st through the 4th, I'll talk more about this in a minute, come back to D.C. We want to be in these streets even stronger, culminating on July 4th when we will declare our independence in the name of humanity from Trump's fascist America. Now, I personally come to this fight as a proud follower of the revolutionary leader Bob Avakian. He is the architect of a whole new framework of human emancipation called the New Communism. And I say this openly because some people go around and they say that should scare you. And they say that me and others from this perspective have a hidden agenda. But I want to put it straight up. There's nothing hidden. I have become convinced that to get to a world where all of humanity can live in peace, where everybody has their needs met for food, clothing, shelter, but also a rich intellectual and cultural life and community. To get to that world, I've become convinced we need a revolution. Guided by the new communism that Bob Avakian has forged. And let me say this, you don't have to agree with that to be in this movement. You don't even have to dig into that, although I would suggest that you do. But if you're going to form an opinion, I call on everybody to have the integrity to find out about Bob Avakian and myself in this revolution by engaging his works directly, not by listening to snark and rumor and anti-communist red-baiting divide and conquer. Have the integrity. And you can do this at revcom.us and at his social media on all the platforms at Bob Avakian. power-vaking official. And if you go there, you will find somebody who's been ahead of the curve for decades, analyzing the rise of this fascism and what is needed to defeat it. But I will tell you this. It is from this perspective that I am 100% determined, sincere, and committed in standing with people from very diverse perspectives, uniting all who can be united to defeat this fascism. Because I recognize that the future I want and the future you want, even if it's different, none of them is possible if fascism consolidates. So we need each other. We need to stand together. We need to debate the roots of this fascism, learn from each other, debate the way forward as we stand shoulder to shoulder, and don't let anybody divide us. So I want to give a shout out to the millions and millions of people across this country who have been standing up to Trump's crimes, who've been speaking out, who've been protesting, and to the millions that we expect in the streets today in the No Kings protests in over 1,000 cities across this country. These outpourings, these numbers show that there is a force in this country that is powerful enough to defeat Trump MAGA fascism. No, it is not the Congress. No, it is not the courts. It is the masses and masses of ordinary people standing up together in the streets. Yes! 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 But here is something extremely crucial. Up until now, as righteous as it is, as important as it is, this mass protest, this mass resistance has largely been oriented towards opposing Trump's crimes, towards stopping this or that element of it, towards slowing him down. But I want you to understand, and we need to help others understand, that unless and until this fascism is defeated, unless and until this regime is removed from power, it will barrel over even the most powerful and righteous opposition, and it will move to consolidate. And that could come sooner than you think. So while it is righteous and necessary to stand up for trans lives, it is, but it's not enough. It is righteous and necessary for universities and law firms to defy Trump, but it is not enough. It is righteous and necessary to defend the students who have put it on the line for Gaza, but it is not enough. And it is righteous. It is righteous and it is necessary that people are standing up across this country, and especially courageously in Los Angeles, against the terror of ICE. This is lending strength and inspiration and courage and defiance, but we have to understand that more is needed. We have to raise the demand and we have to make it real. The fascist Trump regime must go now. So here, I want to speak directly to the fact that there should have been. Y'all are beautiful, but let's be really honest. The hour is getting late. We must not talk falsely, as Bob Dylan said. You are beautiful, but there should have been 1 million people in the streets of D.C. today. And as righteous as it is that people are standing up everywhere, as important as that is, I want to take on directly those who said, protest elsewhere, but not in D.C. Some of them said, if you protest in D.C., Trump might declare martial law. Well, it looks like Trump has kind of jumped the gun on that one. He's going full steam ahead. The sure way to guarantee martial law and fascism is to lie down and capitulate in advance. Some people said, don't protest in D.C., do it across the country, because we have to have a groundswell across the country to get ready for 2026, 2028, when we can take back the Senate and the House and then the presidency. Well, guess what? That is too fucking late. have to join this fight now. And finally, there were those who said, stay away from D.C. Because if you're in D.C. with the military parade, if you're in D.C. where Donald Trump said you'll face a very big force, somebody might get hurt. Well, right now, people are getting hurt. Right now, there is a world of hurt, and just because it's not happening to you does not mean it is not happening. And if we give in to fear, if we cower because of Donald Trump's fascist threats and intimidation, if we sit back while they come for immigrants today and trans people tomorrow, and who knows who next, this leads to greater and greater horror. If you go down that road, you lose your humanity as you watch the humanity of others be destroyed. So I want to ask you, by a show of hands, how many of you, be honest, were a little bit scared to come out in D.C. today? How many of you had somebody tell you maybe you shouldn't go, you might get hurt? Put your hands up, look around. What you did by coming out in the face of that, what you did by coming out in the face of that is model the courage and conviction that can give strength to others. Because the truth is, there has never been any advance for the oppressed without sacrifice, without risk. That's why we celebrate the civil rights leaders. That's why we celebrate those who fought against fascism in Germany. That is why we celebrate the freedom fighters. There's never been any advance on the cheap, and there are bigger things than our own personal safety. So we have to look out for each other. We don't take sacrifice lightly, but we are not going to bow down in fear and let Donald Trump steal the future and barrel over humanity. We are going to stand up. So I want to close by again calling on everyone here to join this movement. If you're part of a group already, then partner with refusefascism.org. We need all our voices. We need to stay in these streets. And in particular, every day stand up and come back here. July 1st through the 4th. We want a massive convergence. Get on a bus, get on a plane, carpool, drive here. Every day we'll stand up, and this July 4th, in front of the eyes of the world, of July 4th, in front of the White House, be part of issuing the biggest chant ever. The Trump fascist regime must go now. By doing this, we will be taking this movement forward, building the strength and the struggle to carry this all the way to unseating the regime. So I ask you to put your fist in the air with me. We're going to close out together. In the name of humanity.
In the name